that, we hear regularly in the XRP community, at least, back in their 1913s, the Federal Reserve Act was essentially launched. This activated, and also it was launched at midnight on Christmas Day, while basically everyone's either asleep or opening up their Christmas gifts, not giving two hoots about what's going on in the world of finance or things of that nature. So a really peculiar time why someone would, or especially a government agency or the Fed would develop and launch something like at this scale at that type of time of day or time of year. Regardless, that might be a conversation within itself. But the Federal Reserve Act gave birth to the Federal Reserve System. It also gave birth to the central banking system that we know today. Now, I want to know, because we've heard many times
something else it gave birth to. Income taxes.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That very painful, especially being a resident of California.
Yep.
But we've heard, especially in the XRP community, and from those that worked at Ripple, even at Link2, and now I believe at Forte Games. I'm speaking about Miguel Villas. He was the, I think he ran XRPL markets for Ripple, one of the first early employees. But there was times where he mentioned, which is a functionality of the central bank as being a lender of last resort. Now, and he mentioned many times that Ripple has the potential to become that entity or play that role in this global financial system. What do you think it would take for an entity like Ripple to be in that type of position and have that type of power? What would it take?
Well, there's a logistical question of they must have some kind of asset to lend, right? And if they have a large amount of XRP, and should there be a major markets crash, including a collapse of the fiat money system, the fiat dollar, there's sort of a widely discussed theory. We often talk about this, that kind of out of the ashes, they will reprice or revalue XRP and potentially revalue gold at the same time, and then use these new assets to back new sovereign currencies that are issued on the blockchain. And then Ripple could function in a central bank, and that, the lender of last resort thing is a slippery slope, because are you kind of preparing for a whole lot of bad loans? Like, are we preparing for this type of somewhat reckless behavior? We saw that in 2009, a lot of banks made very, brazen gambles. They lost. There was no consequences for them. The lender of last resort just printed a bunch of money, and that created a lot of inflation for us. So I think it would be worth examining, like, do we really need a lender of last resort? I used to make infographics and went into the Federal Reserve history quite a bit. And there was a panic that preceded, the formation of the Federal Reserve. And it's widely speculated that was kind of orchestrated to kind of create the justification for JP Morgan needing to be that lender of last resort. And it didn't end up serving the interests of people like us.